Every time you imagine everything that could go wrong, you're practicing. And eventually, you get very good at being afraid. You rehearse the rejection before you ask. You rehearse the failure before you begin. You rehearse the humiliation before anyone has even seen you try. Then the moment comes. The application is open. The conversation needs to happen. The business idea is still sitting in your notes. The decision you've avoided for 6 months is right in front of you. And somehow, you choose the same thing again. Wait, delay, think about it. Tell yourself you need more time. Later that night, you hate yourself for it. Not because you do not know what you should have done, because for a few seconds, you watched fear make the decision for you. Most men think fear shows up in the moment. It doesn't. The moment only reveals what you have been rehearsing. For weeks, maybe years, you have been running the same private simulations. What if I fail? What if I lose what I have? What if they laugh? What if I finally give everything I have and discover that I am still not enough? You call it thinking things through. Sometimes it is. But sometimes you are not solving a problem. You are practicing surrender. And if you practice a response often enough, it starts to feel natural. That is how a man can spend years saying he wants a different life while becoming better and better at choosing the old one. The tragedy is not that he is weak. It is that he has trained himself for the wrong moment. And if you recognize yourself in that, this is not a reason to shame yourself. It is a reason to finally understand what has been happening. Because what has been practiced can be challenged. But first, you have to stop pretending that fear is only a feeling. In your life, fear has probably become a routine. Think about the last time you backed away from something you knew mattered. Maybe nobody saw it. You opened the email and closed it. You started filling out the application and decided you would finish tomorrow. You had the words ready for a conversation and then softened them until nothing honest was left. You told yourself you were going to start training again Monday. Monday came. You were tired, so you moved the promise again. The strange thing is that none of these decisions feels enormous while you are making it. That is why they are dangerous. A life rarely collapses because of one dramatic act of cowardice. More often, it gets smaller through 1,000 tiny negotiations. You keep the job you hate because leaving feels uncertain. You keep spending because looking honestly at the numbers feels uncomfortable. You keep researching the thing you already know enough to begin because preparation feels safer than being judged. Every decision protects you from discomfort today and quietly charges your future for it. That is the bargain fear offers. Relief now, regret later. Then one day you look around and realize the thing you were waiting to feel ready for has been waiting on you for 3 years. Your children are older. Your body carries the evidence of what you kept postponing. Someone less talented took the opportunity because he was willing to be seen trying. The person you told yourself you would become is still living mostly in your imagination. And now the fear is worse, because you are no longer only afraid of failing. You are afraid that all the time you lost means it is too late. That is how the loop tightens. Fear creates avoidance. Avoidance creates evidence that you are the kind of man who avoids. That evidence damages self-trust. And when you trust yourself less, the next difficult decision feels even heavier. Eventually, you stop saying, "I'm scared to do this." You start saying, "I'm just not that kind of person." That sentence is where fear stops being an emotion and starts becoming an identity. Be careful with the story you tell about who you are. I'm an overthinker. I've always been bad with money. I'm not disciplined. I'm just someone who needs to be sure before I move. Those statements can sound like self-awareness, but sometimes they are old behavior wearing the clothes of identity. You are not describing an unchangeable person. You are describing what you have practiced. That matters, because if you believe the pattern is your personality, you will protect it. If you understand it as a pattern, you can interrupt it. This does not mean pretending painful things never happened to you. Some men have been betrayed. Some learned early that mistakes were punished instead of corrected. Some lost money, failed publicly, watched a relationship fall apart, or trusted someone who used that trust against them. Those experiences matter, but there is a difference between respecting what shaped you and allowing it to keep choosing for you. At some point, the question changes. Not, why did I become this way? But, what am I still doing because of it? That question puts responsibility back in your hands. Maybe you learned to stay quiet because speaking honestly once cost you something. Are you still staying quiet? Maybe you failed badly at something you cared about. Have you spent 5 years calling avoidance being realistic? The past may explain the reflex. It does not have to own the next response. And this is where a lot of men get trapped. They think change begins when fear disappears. So they wait. They wait to feel confident. They wait to feel certain. They wait until their mind stops producing worst-case scenarios. But courage has never required a silent mind. It requires a decision about which voice gets authority.
You do not need to become fearless. You need to become harder to control with fear. There is a difference. The first step is brutally simple. Catch the rehearsal. When you notice yourself building the entire disaster in your head, do not immediately argue with every thought. Name what is happening. I'm rehearsing failure. That sentence creates distance. Now, ask a better question. What will I do if this goes badly? Not, how do I guarantee it won't? What will I do? If they say no, what is the next move? If the launch fails, what will you learn and change? If the conversation becomes uncomfortable, what truth still needs to be said? You are teaching yourself that a bad outcome is not the end of your ability to respond. Fear loves vague catastrophe. It says everything could fall apart. Your job is to make the problem specific enough to act on. Then rehearse the behavior you actually want, not some fantasy where you dominate the room and everybody applauds. Something ordinary. See yourself opening the email and pressing send. See yourself saying the sentence without apologizing for having a boundary. See yourself walking into the room while nervous. See yourself looking at the debt total without closing the banking app. Then do one small version of that behavior in real life. Because imagination can prepare you, but proof changes your relationship with yourself. This is where rebuilding actually begins. Not with a new identity statement in the mirror, with evidence. You told yourself you would make the call. Make it. You said you would train. Train. You promised you would stop hiding from the numbers. Open them. You said you would apply. Submit something before you feel finished. Your ego wants a dramatic transformation because dramatic transformation lets you keep fantasizing. Real rebuilding is embarrassingly concrete. A man who has spent years avoiding difficult conversations does not rebuild himself by announcing that he is now courageous. He tells the truth once, then again.
A man who no longer trusts his own promises does not fix that with a perfect morning routine downloaded from somebody else. He makes one promise small enough to keep and keeps it long enough that breaking it starts to feel foreign. A man who is terrified of failure does not wait for confidence. He chooses a risk he can survive and allows reality to teach him something his imagination never could. This is the standard. Do not measure progress by how little fear you feel. Measure it by how often fear gets a vote, but not the final decision. You can be nervous and send it, uncertain and begin, embarrassed and practice, afraid and still tell the truth. Now your life is teaching you a new lesson. Not, nothing scares me, but fear does not automatically mean stop. And every time you prove that, the old identity loses a little authority.
There will still be nights when the old rehearsal comes back. You will lie in bed and imagine the deal collapsing. You will picture the conversation going wrong. You will wonder whether you waited too long, wasted too much time, ruined too many opportunities. Do not panic because the old voice still exists. It had years of practice. Give the new response time to earn familiarity. When fear shows you the worst possible ending, answer with behavior. What can I do tomorrow morning? One phone call, one page, one workout, one honest conversation, one application. Then do it before your mind turns it into a debate. You do not rebuild your life by winning every argument inside your head. You rebuild it by making enough good decisions that the argument matters less. And eventually, something changes. The same situation appears. The fear arrives. But this time, so does evidence. You remember sending the message, walking into the room, surviving the rejection, correcting the mistake, keeping the promise, getting up after looking foolish. Now fear is no longer speaking to a man with no proof. It is speaking to a man who knows what he does next. There is one reason this matters more than feeling confident. Time does not care what you were afraid of. It keeps moving. Another year can disappear while you are preparing to become the man who finally begins. That should bother you. Not because you need to hate the man you have been, because you should respect the life he still has left. There are things you cannot recover. Years with your children at this age. Time with people who will not always be here. Opportunities that belong to this season. The health you could have protected earlier. The self-respect that comes from knowing you did not keep abandoning yourself. You do not control how much time remains, but you do control whether fear gets another year without resistance. So tonight, notice what you have been rehearsing. Notice the catastrophe you keep practicing. Notice the decision you keep delaying. Notice the version of yourself that fear keeps asking you to protect. Then choose one response that man would normally avoid. Make it small enough to do, real enough to count. Do it. And tomorrow, practice again. Not fearlessness, response. Not fantasy, proof. Not becoming somebody else overnight. Becoming a man whose actions no longer automatically obey the old script. Your past may have taught you fear. Your mistakes may have given it reasons. Your imagination may have rehearsed the same ending 1,000 times. But none of that gets to make tomorrow's decision without your permission. You are still here. There is still a door you have not walked through. A conversation you can still have. A standard you can still restore. A promise you can still keep. And the next version of your life will not be built by thinking about him long enough. It will be built the moment fear says, "Not yet."
and you move anyway. You have practiced being afraid long enough. Now practice becoming the man who acts.